Hari Om, Namaskaraha. We'll start with Vyasa Stuti because he is the one who has given all the Vedas, analyzing them into 4 parts, right? Ruk, Yajus, Sama and Atharva. Brahma Sutra Krite Tasmai Veda Vyasaya Vedase. Brahma Sutra Krite Tasmai Veda Vyasaya Vedase Jnana Shakti Avataraya Namo Bhagavate Harehe. He is the Bhagavate Avataraha, Bhagavata Avataraha of Jnana Shakti Avatara, of the Jnana Rupa Avatara of Keshava. Tasya Avataraya Namaha. Okay? And we are starting purely Atharvavedic Suktas. Some of you have been attending the Vedic Suktas in the webinars which I have held earlier. Some are new perhaps, but many of you I can recognize by names and of course by faces. So welcome you all to this webinar on healing hymns from the Atharvaveda. Atharvaveda is the 4th in the order, so to say order. Of course, all these 4 Vedas, entire Vedic literature is Apaurushaya, so we cannot literally establish any chronology, but yet because of the subject matter, the contents of the Atharvaveda, many scholars and critics feel that this is post-Rigvedic. That is one, because of the content. Secondly, many of the Suktas, many of the Richas, the mantras are repeated from the Rigveda. So there was Rigveda and many of them are borrowed. Like in Samaveda, the many Suktas, many Richas are borrowed. Similarly in the Atharvaveda, many Richas are borrowed. Okay. And thirdly, because many times, there is a reference to Veda Trayi and not Chatvaraha Vedaha. So when the reference comes to Veda Trayi, it has to be Ruk, Yajus and Sama. And therefore Atharvaveda gets excluded, and therefore, so these are some 2-3 reasons because of which we say, many people say that this might be of little letter origin. I can just say I am not a great critic. I am a student of the Veda. I am an ardent student of Vedic studies, and I do it with Sayana on one hand and Yaskacharya on the other hand, as those who are listening to me know that these are my 2 pillars, right? And without their help, I cannot proceed further even a step. To me, I feel Rigveda is more for the class, and whereas Atharvaveda is more for the masses. The classes and the masses, maybe this type of difference we can make because there are many such hymns, many suktas which deal with Yatu Vidya. We'll see now what is the Atharvaveda and what are the divisions of Atharvaveda, what are the different names of Atharvaveda. So I have told our webinar team, and I think they have posted one video which I had taken some 5-6 years back in Ola IKCs I used to run. So in that lecture number 15 is the introduction to Atharvaveda. You can just listen to it at your leisure time later on. Okay. And I have also posted, asked them to post the PPTs. So you have the text which I am going to read, right? So the text is already with you. So there need not be any problem. With translation, it is there, and wherever possible, Sayana Bhashya, Nirukti also. Of course, I will be speaking lot more than what is there, right? But then normally this is my way of conducting the Vedic webinars. I make a presentation and share it beforehand so that you also have an access to all this. Atharvaveda, like Rigveda, is divided into 10 sections called mandalas, right? Atharvaveda is divided into 20 sections called kandas. There are 20 kandas. But all the 20, they are not uniform. So there are like content wise or the number of mantras in each sukta On the basis of that parameter, there are certain three divisions, main three divisions of Atharvaveda. The first and the foremost is Kandas 1 to 7. Kandas 1 to 7, they are little smaller suktas, not more than 18 mantras. Some of the suktas have only 3 mantras also. 1 mantra also at times, So very small, 1 to 18 is the number, okay? 1 to 18. And the maximum of the Atharvaveda in all has 498 suktas, and most of those, almost 430 and plus, are in the first section, 1st to 7th kanda, okay? And more than 2000 mantras are there. For the Rigvedic mantras, we call them Richas. For the Atharvaveda, we don't call Richa, because Richam Vedaha Rigvedaha. Atharvaveda, every single verse in our shloka or verse in our language is called mantra only, not rik. It's a mantra. So almost more than 2000 mantras and more than 400 suktas are there in the first section, that is Kanda number 1 to 7. Then comes the second section, which is Kanda 8 to 12. Kanda 8 to 12, and these are longer suktas. More than 20 mantras each. More than 20 mantras each. So these are long hymns of miscellaneous subjects, and that is, there are almost, I think, 1500 mantras altogether, okay? 45 hymns only, 45 suktas, but because they are longer, the mantra sankhya is more than 1500. And the last section is Kandas 13 to 18. The 19 and 20 are regarded as killer or appendices, okay? So the last section is till 18th only, 13 to 18. And they have unity of subjects. In all other first divisions, first and second division of the sukta, there is not, unity of content, unity of subject matter. They are of various types, Some could be Ayurveda, some could be Dirghayu Prapti, some could be Yakshmanashana, some could be Vashikarana, some could be Shala Nirmana, some could be Rajakarma, various. But from 13 to 18, one topic, each kanda devoted to one subject matter. So 13th, for example, has sun as Rohita Suktani, Surya Sukta, but Surya is called Rohita there. 14th is very interesting for us. There are only 2 suktas, that is Vivaha Suktas. 14.1 and 14.2. There are Vivaha Suktas, only 2 suktas, but long, 64, 75 mantras, long. Then the 15th is Vratya Stoma. Vratya, in Marathi we have the word Vratya. Far Vratya mulga hai, Khodkar mulga hai, very mischievous. And one who doesn't obey the orders, the commands of the parents, he is called Vratya. Basically, Vratya is Vrata Bhrashta. Vrata Bhrashta, one who hasn't undergone the Vrata of the Upanayana. Okay? So, Upanayana, jiska nahi hua hai, he is called Vratya. So, these are the Vratya Stoma. Stoma is Stuti. So, that is 15. The 16 is again Indra, Vishnu and Surya. These are the 3. All 3 are like solar deities. They are Saura Devatas. Indra is also Saura Devata, Vishnu is also Saura Devata, and Surya obviously is Saura Devata. That is 16. Then 17 is Dirghayushya Sukta. Only 3 suktas are there. Dirghayushya, long life, for longevity. And then 18th is the funeral sukta, the Pitra Suktas. There are only 4 suktas in that. They are Pitra Suktas. So 1 to 18th we saw, and 19th and 20 are called the Khila Suktas. Khila Kanda. So there are 20 Kandas. Got the overall division of Atharvaveda? Is that okay? Now Atharvaveda has 2 Samhitas. Basically Atharvaveda had 9 different versions. Navadha Atharvanaha. Ekavimshatihi Rugvedaha. Ekashatam Adhvaryavam. Sahasravartma Samavedaha. Navadha Atharvanaha. Samaveda had more than 1000 versions. Rigveda has 21. Ekavimshatihi. Ekashatam Adhvaryavam, that is Yajurveda. And Navadha Atharvanaha. But today we have only the names of the other Samhitas. Only 2 Samhitas. In fact, what we are reading is from Shaunaka Samhita. Shaunakiya Samhita. There was another Samhita called Paipalada Samhita, and that was discovered in 20th century in Kashmir, and that was edited in Hoshiarpur Oriental Institute. So till then Paipalada Samhita was not available to us, was not accessible, right? So we know only these 2 Samhitas, but then there are others, like Jajali, Gramayajin, Pugayadniya and all that. Now in that introductory lecture of Ola, you will get all this information. So I won't repeat it to save time. Okay. This information is all there. Now like Rigveda, Sayanacharya has written Bhashya on Atharvaveda also. But not extensively, not an elaborate Bhashya like he did on the Rigveda. Okay. Many times there is no Bhashya at all. Sometimes there is Bhashya. And he has made, like he wrote, his Bhumika, his prologue, before writing the Rigveda Bhashya, he wrote his prologue for Atharva Bhashya Bhumika. Like Rig Bhashya Bhumika we have, here also for Atharvaveda, he has Atharvaveda Bhashya Bhumika. And what is the Bhumika? What is the intention of commenting on the Atharvaveda? Because most of the mantras, most of the suktas are repeated, then why he should waste his energy, right? And therefore he hasn't commented on each and every sukta. But his intention is very clear. He says, Vyakhyaya Veda Tritayam. Veda Tritayam, Rup Yajussama. Vyakhyaya Veda Tritayam Amushmika Falapradam, which will give you the reward in the way of the Paraloka Prapti, the Paraloka, which loka you will attain after doing this, right? So, Vyakhyaya Veda Tritayam Amushmika. Amushmika, other word. Aihika, this word. So, Aihika and Amushmika are exactly opposites, okay? Amushmika Falapradam, Aihika Mushmika Falam, Chaturtham Vyachikirshati. Chaturtham Vedam Idanim, Vyachikirshati, the writer wants to comment upon, which will yield the fruit, not only Amushmika, but Aihika as well. So this is this worldly, mundane, and not only the other worldly. That is the main difference. And therefore there are many things which appeal to us even today because they deal directly with the human being, his existence, his life, his long life and all these things. Okay. So that is the main thing. Now Dirghayu Prapti is the sukta which I want to read. The first. This is from the first Kanda, 35th Sukta. It has only 4 mantras. Why I chose Dirghayu at the very beginning while commencing the webinar? Dirghayu should come as a result, right? First you discuss all other things and as a result of that, the long, healthy life you get, right? But I want to reverse the order. The main objective, the main aim of the Vedic seers is Shatam Pashyema Sharadaha, Shatam Jivema Sharadaha, Shatam Shrunuyama Sharadaha. if we want to live 100 years and that too with strong limbs, then that is the goal. And to achieve that goal, what all we have to do will come secondarily, right? The goal we have to address first, and the first address is to the goal, and that is Dirghayu. And that's why we are taking Dirghayu Sukta or Dirghayu Prakti Sukta in the very first place. The Rishi is Atharva. Most of the Atharvaveda is written, not written, is composed, is seen, you can see, because they are all seers, they have seen the Vedas, and therefore we don't call them Muni. Munihi Mananat, Rishihi Darshanat, right? So Darshanat Rishi, one who sees is a seer, one who thinks is a thinker or a sage or a Muni. So these are not Munis, these are the seers. They have seen these Veda. Most of the hymns of the Atharvaveda are seen by Rishi Atharva. Atharvan is the name. Atharva is the Prathama Ekavachan nominative singular, right? Maghavan, Atman, Atma. Maghavan becomes Maghava. Similarly, Atharvan becomes Atharva. Of course, there are other rishis, right? Like Atri, like Bhrugu, like Angirasa, and on the basis of these rishis, Atharvaveda has got different names also. So we'll see some of these names and then we go to the Sukta. Okay? Bhrugvangirasa, Bhrugu and Angirasa, Bhrugvangirasaha. There are some 11 names I have found out, and they are referred to in different texts like Shatapatha Brahmana, like Upanishad, like Mahabharata, Ashtanga Sangraha, then Gopatha Brahmana, like that, you know. So the Atharvaveda is referred to by different names. Okay. So Bhrugvangirasa, because majority of the Suktas are composed by Bhrugu and Angirasa. Another name is Atharvangirasa. Same, Atharvan and Angirasa. These are the two sages. Or simply Atharvana, major importance given to Atharvan sage. So Atharvana. Then it is called Brahmaveda. It is called Brahmaveda. There are 2-3 reasons for that. I will be discussing that, I think, today or tomorrow. In some of the PPTs I have put that. I won't repeat it now. Brahmaveda, of course, 2-3 names are there. Brahma, 2-3 reasons are there. Brahma is one of the seers, like Atharva is the seer, Brahma is the seer, and therefore it is known after the seer. Or Brahman could be the philosophical highest entity, Brahman, and 1/4 of the Atharvaveda deals with philosophical topics, and therefore it is aptly called as Brahmaveda. The third meaning is Brahman is from root Brumha, to grow, so Brahman is a mantra. Brahman means mantra, incantation. And that's why, you know, Brahmana is not one who is born in a Brahmana jati, Brahma jati. Brahma janati, asau Brahmana. One who knows mantras is a Brahmana. And this mantra could be used for good as well as for bad, beneficent as well as maleficent purposes. For Vashikarana, Uchchatana, Jarana, Marana. For that also the mantras could be used, and for curing a disease, for Ayush Kama, for Sabha Vijaya. For Sabha Vijaya also there are mantras. If I want to excel as a good orator in a Sabha, then there are some mantras, there are some Suktas in Atharvaveda. So that's why I say this is very mundane, very much related to our day-to-day life, practical life. And therefore, Sayana has given that Aihika Amushmika Faladam Chaturtham Vyachikeshati. Okay, so Brahma Veda we saw, then Bheshaja Veda Subheshaja or Bhaishajya Veda, all dealing with Bheshaja only. But there is Bheshaja given. Bheshaja is what? Aushadha. There is a slight difference, yes. Bheshaja is Aushadha, and therefore a doctor or a Vaidya is called Bhishak. Bhishak is a doctor, a Vaidya. Bhishak Tamam Bhishak Tamaha. Ashwini Kumaras in the Rigveda, they are called Bhishak Tamau. They are the best of the physicians, right? But Bheshaja and Aushadha, there is a little difference. And that difference brings out the whole purport why it is called Bhaishajya Veda or Subheshaja. Aushadham Dravya Sanyogaha. What is Aushadha? Aushadha is mixing of different dravyas. It could be some minerals, it could be some kvatha, it could be some gutika, some powder, a tablet or a powder or a kashaya, syrup. It could be Aushadham. Aushadhi, we'll see that also. Aushadhi is the herbs, the medicinal herbs. And Aushadhibhyaha jayate iti Aushadham. So mostly the herbal medicines were employed by the physicians. That is Aushadham Dravya Sanyogam Bruvate, whereas Bhaishajam is Huta Vrata Tapodanam. Huta, Vrata, Tapa and Danam. Huta, making certain oblations, performing a yajna, a rite. So when a chronic disease like Raja Yakshma, Kshetriya Roga it is called, it is not getting cured. Then doctors say, Abhi dua ki nahi, dua ki zarurat hai. Something like that in the Bollywood movies, right? That means you go for something higher. Not Adi Bhautika. You go to Adi Daivika and do some sacrifice. Somebody gives you certain advice, you do this vrata, huta, vrata. If you do this vrata, then you will be cured by that. You have to do some tapa. Tapa is heating your own self by restraining a few things. Tapasvadhyaya niratam munipungavam naradaha paripapracha, right? Tapasvadhyaya niratam. Tapa is heating your own self by restraining your own self, by regulating your daily routine in a particular manner. That is called tapa. So tapa could be, not eating food or eating food without salt, eating food without sugar, eating food without oil. That is all tapa. Because you are regularly doing it, you are controlling yourself by not eating sweet and all that, right? So huta, vrata, tapa and dana. Somebody in your ancestor, in your lineage has done some sin, and therefore you have to do a godana, you have to do bhumidana, you have to do something. Then only the shapa, the effect of the shapa will be gone, and then you will be cured of your diseases. So some such things also are added to Aushadha, then it becomes Bheshaja, right? And therefore, when we talk about Atharvaveda as Bhaishajya Veda or Subheshaja, that means it has, along with the Aushadhi, it has Bheshajani as well. Bheshaja also is a part and parcel of Atharvaveda. Then there is a name called Kshatra Veda. Kshatriya. Kshatat Trayate iti kshatram. One who protects you from any harm, any wound or any harm. So one is a protector. Warrior class is therefore called as Kshatriya. Kshatat vai trayate iti kshatriyaha. So Kshatriya Veda, why it is called so? Because there are so many suktas dealing with Raja, Amatya, Senapati, how to appoint them, what type of yajna a king should perform, how he should behave, what should be his routine. So Rajakarmani forms a major chunk of Atharvaveda, and therefore it also is known as Kshatraveda. This comes in Shatapatha Brahmana. Also Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also mentions Atharvaveda as Kshatraveda. Then there is one name called Gramayajin or Pugayadniya. Gramayajin or Pugayadniya, because this is of a very common nature of the Atharvaveda, which is easily accessible to any commoner, any lowly people also. It is available. So for masses it is applicable, for masses it is available, and therefore it is called Gramayajin or Pugayadniya. Puga is basically Pugi Phala, that's a supari, Arka nut, supari, right? So what you pay that person, so we have in Maharashtra at least, we have so many surnames which have come from this tradition. Like we have a surname called Gurav. Devi say Gurav. Gurav are the pujaris. Even the pujari or pujara. Even in Karnataka we have pujari or pujara in Kurg and that part, Mangalore side we have pujara as well. So they are the pujaris, but they are not necessarily from the priestly clan. They are from the common clans also. Common Varanas as well, and therefore this is also called as Gramayajin or Pugayajin. And another very important name is Yatuveda. Yatuveda, Yatu is magic. Because of its nature of socio-magical ritual nature of the Atharvaveda is displayed through Yatuveda. There are so many Yatu Dhana mantras, Yatu Dhanyaha they are called. Yatu is nothing but Jadu. Yatu, Ta becomes Da and Ya is replaced by Jakara, the Jashruti, like Yashoda is Jasoda, Yasumati it becomes Yashomati, it becomes Jasumati. So Ya is replaced by Ja, right? And then Ta is replaced by the. These are the Varna Vyatyaya, Varna Viparyaya in Nirukta principle also. Those who have attended Nirukta can recall that. So Yatu is Jadu. So these are the magical rites. And there are so many such Suktas which deal with the magical rites, the magical rituals, and therefore it is called Yatuveda as well. And this name comes in the Shatapatha Brahmana. So even in the Vedic literature, the Brahmana literature or the Upanishad literature, you find these different names. That means these names are as old as this literature is, right? And therefore no wonder that once upon a time there were 9 types of or 9 recensions of Atharvaveda, Navadha Atharvanaha. Unfortunately now, from the Rigveda, how many shakhas we have? We have only Shakala Shakha, Kauthuma Shakha. We don't have Kaushitaki Shakha, Ashvalayana Shakha. What about others? I tell you one thing, there used to be a Bashkala Shakha of the Rigveda. There used to be a Shakha called Bashkala. And somebody came and said, oh, I belong to Bashkala Shakha, but the Bashkala Shakha recension is not available. And therefore the listener would say, what are you babbling? And from that in Marathi we have a word, Bashkal Badbad. Bashkal Badbad. So these words, they haven't come like that only. They have a whole lot of history behind them. Bashkal Badbad. All the Marathi people here may recall this, right? Kaitri Bashkal Badbad Chaloli. That means one which is not reliable, unbelievable is Bashkal. But Bashkal was a Shakha. So, these names are like very, very funny. Anyhow, so there are Yatu Vidya when we call, or Yatu Veda, Abhichara, Marana Karma, Jadu Tona, as we say in Marathi. That forms the major part of that. Okay, and that would include death of an enemy, or calamity on an enemy, then madness of an enemy, may the enemy go mad, unmatta bhavavet, or sunlessness of the Shatru, all these things, whatever you have in mind. And there are certain abhicharas done, like, you make a purushakriti of the flower, peat, paishtiki, from the pishta you make a purushakriti, and you pierce the vital parts of that with a sharp thing, having in your mind that this organ should be, like injured of that enemy. So when you see in many Bhagavati temples here in Kerala, when I visit many Bhagavati temples here, we have a big tree, and to that so many nails are, put on those. And these nails are nothing but some type of abhichara against someone or somebody. कोणाच्या नावाने खिळा ठोकणे, So all these things are there even now. Even now, when I go to Chotanikara here, Uma, you must be remembering, you might have visited Chotanikara, right? So those who have come here, Nilu, you all remember that, Nilu, Nilima. I can see some of your people who have visited Chotanikara temple. So there we find all these things even now in the 21st century. If we are doing it, you can easily imagine that was in vogue thousands of years ago. So these are the abhichara karmas, and they are based on sadrishya, similarity, or sambandha, proximity. Not much of that, I don't want to go very much detail into that. We are not doing Atharvaveda for research purposes. We are just enjoying few of the Suktas to get a feel, to get a flavor of what Atharvaveda really is, right? In the Aushadhi Suktani, that webinar, I had taken one Sukta from Atharvaveda called Skamba Sukta, which is also cosmological Sukta. Like Nasadiya Sukta, Hiranyagarbha Sukta, Purusha Sukta, Vak Sukta, I took Skamba Sukta. But nothing of the typical Atharvaveda type I haven't taken, and therefore I wanted to do some Suktas from the Atharvaveda, and I picked and chose a few dealing with healing, Aushadi. And for that, first Dirghayu is the aim, and for that we have to keep our body healthy. And then if we want to keep ourselves healthy, you must know what type of diseases will be there. Unless you diagnose that, you won't be able to cure those diseases. So for diagnosis purpose, you need to know what type of aches and pains and shula, can arise. Every body splitting, hair splitting, in anything, you can imagine the whole body, 72,000 nerves, and every nerve will give you some pain. So how many types of diseases are there? And then there are like Adhibhautika Pida also. There is a snake bite or scorpion bite or a Mashaka Dansha, and then how to treat that. So many things. If you want to live 100 years, Niramaya Ayushya, then you have to know that. And therefore, all the following suktas from tomorrow onwards will be dealing with other facets of this. So the Rishi is Atharva, the Devata is Indra, Agni, Vishwe Devaha, and basically Hiranya, because a gold money is tied to the patient who aims to live a long life. Jagati is the Chanda, and the Viniyoga, according to the Kaushika Sutra, all the Grihya Sutras, every Veda has its own Shrauta Sutra, Grihya Sutra, its own Upanishad, Brahmana, Aranyaka, etc., etc. So Atharvaveda has Gopatha as its Brahmana, Munda Mandukya Prashna are the Upanishads related to Atharvaveda, and Kaushika is the sutra which is Griya Sutra. And Kaushika Sutra says Upanayana, at the time of Upanayana also it is chanted, this sutta is recited, and Sarva Sampat Karma, if you want to obtain wealth and be wealthy and healthy both, then also this sutta is recited. Now we'll start with the Shanti mantra of the Atharvaveda. There are some Shanti mantras like Om Sahana Bhavatu and all. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhir Yajatraha Sthirai Rangair Tushtuvagam Sustanubhi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu. This is traditionally the Shanti mantra of the Atharvaveda, and here it also occurs in the Rigveda as Bhadra Sukta, and I have taken it, I have recorded it for some Veda Pushpanjali, and it comes in the Rigveda first mandala as well. So Karnebhihi Bhadram Shrunuyama, let us hear all noble things, because right hearing is reception of truth. Bhadram Pashyema Akshabhihi Yajatraha, right seeing is correct understanding. So let us see. That means our eyes, our ears should be sharp enough and efficient enough to grasp the good things, right? So good hearing, good seeing, then sthiraihi angaihi, with firm limbs, sthiraihi angaihi tushtuvagams tanubhihi, with our body is having firm and strong limbs. We want to appreciate and worship the gods who will give us the assigned lifespan. Devahitam Yadayuhu Vyashema Prapnuyama, so that we may obtain the lifespan assigned to us by the gods. And what is the lifespan assigned by the gods? Not just 100, 116 years. 116. So 116 years. So that is so this is very much pravritti marga, okay? The healthy body, because it is instrument for practicing dharma and living a full lifespan, because this aligns with the cosmic order. So that is the Rigvedic, Atharvanic Shanti mantra. Atharvaveda was when Vyasa, we say Vedanam Vibhachakaya Vedase. So Vyasa, Vedan Vivyasa Ataha Vyasa iti uchyate. He is Krishna Dvaipayana. Basically his name is Krishna Dvaipayana. He was born in an island, Dvipa, and he is Krishna, dark in color, and therefore he is Krishna Dvaipayana. He is called Vyasa because Vedan Vivyasa. Vedarashi was one. He divided them into 4. He gave Rigveda's compilation to Paila, Yajurveda to Vaishampayana, then Samaveda to Jaimini, and Atharvaveda to Sumantu. So these are the 4 Shishyas of Vedavyasa. And then we already saw the 20 sections, almost 730 hymns and 6,000 or 5,080 mantras. And the types of suktas are Bhaishajya, Dirghayushya. We saw all that, Vivaha, Shala, Nirmana, Krishi. And the names also we saw, Sayana Bhashya also we saw. I think whatever PPTs I have made, I have already discussed that with you. And long and healthy life is the goal. And this very much tallies and is in line with Ayurveda, which gives you Swasthasya Vyakhya. Who is called Swastha? And what is Ayurveda aiming at? Aturasya roga prashamanam swasthasya cha swasthya rakshanam. One who is healthy, status quo, his health should be maintained as it is. For that, what he has to do? He has to take precautionary measures so that diseases don't overpower him. Right? And if at all he falls sick, Atura is ailing person, sick person, ill person. Then roga prashmanam. Then you have to pacify the roga. Roga nirbarhanam, eradicate the roga, the illness from his body. Disease. If you are not at ease, that becomes a disease. It is not disease, it is dis-ease. A swasthya, right? So that is not just physical, that is mental, that is behavioral, that is psychological, that could be spiritual, emotional, right? So that is dis-ease, and that could be caused by negligence. We neglect our own body, mind and soul. Then because of adhidaivaka, some wrath of the divine power, or seasonal epidemics, you can't avoid that. Seasonal epidemics, etc. And these are the 3-4 reasons why a person falls sick. And then you have to diagnose, you have to cure, and dubara nahi aana chahiye, you have to prevent also. Right? So diagnosis, cure and prevention, and for that what all types of Aushadha and Bhaishaja are used. Medication first and foremost, fasting, meditation, this comes in the Hutta, Vrata, Tapodhana, etc. Amulets, Manidharana, some sort of Manidharana. Here in this Sukta we have Suvarna Mani, and mantras of course. And medicines are mostly herbal, sometimes minerals also. And for the long life we are aiming, and for that knowledge of diseases, and therefore tomorrow we will have Yakshma Nivarana. Yakshma in general means a disease, and in particular pulmonary disease, breathing problems. Then Sarpa Vishanashana, that comes by Adi Bhautika Pida. Then Laksha Suktam, it is if somebody strikes at you, injures you, or if you get burnt, Varnadi Abhighate or Dahadighate, Laksha Suktam Jape. Then Kshetriya Roganashanam is the chronic disease. Kshetra is our body, which stays in our body. So chronic illnesses. And then last, that is Kesha Drumhanam I have taken because so many ladies I know have joined this class. So Kesha Drumhanam, and this is very small, 2 suktas I have taken in fact in this. So with this now I am starting the 4 mantras of this particular sukta. Lot of introduction, but I thought without having an overall picture, we cannot just go into the middle, into the core. We have to go do the peripheral study first, surface study, and then go to the inner core. So the inner core now, the first mantra in Jagati Chanda. Jagati is having 12 aksharas in every pada. So there are 48 aksharas in the entire mantra. Trishtub is 4 less. Trishtub has 11 aksharas in every pada. So Trishtub and Jagati are typical. Trishtub, Anushtub, Jagati, Pankti, Gayatri. Of course Gayatri we know all, 8 aksharas, 3 padas and all. Anyhow, so this is Jagati Chanda. Yada badnan dakshayana hiranyam shatanikaya sumanasyamanah tatte badnhamyayushe varchase balaya dirghayatvaya shatasharadaya. Now somebody had asked our webinar coordinator, SIP webinar team, that whether chanting will be taught in this class. I am sorry, chanting will not be taught. I am an academician. I can teach you how to interpret, how to translate, how to decipher the word and come to the core meaning of that. Chanting, there are so many Veda Pathashalas. So chanting is not my forte. It's not my domain. Okay. So first disclaimer. So that gold which is given by the descendants of Daksha, Dakshayanaha, yet Shatanikaya abadhnan. So Dakshayanaha, Daksha Prajapati, Dakshayanaha, the descendants, the people born in the Daksha's family, they tied one Hiranya to Shatanika. Shatanika is the name of a king. Shatanika also happens to be Nakula's son in the Mahabharata, but that comes quite late. This is Veda, not Itihasa, right? So pre-Vedic, pre-Itihasa, it must be some king, because Anika means Sena, army. Okay, and therefore one who has 100 types of Senas, 100 arrays, view of the Sena, he is called Shatanika. So some great king it must be referring to. So one such great king, he was having Ayush Kama. He was desiring for Ayush Kama Sukta it is, Dirghayutvaya. And therefore the Dakshayanas tied for his hand, on his hand, Hiranyam. Yat abadnan Hiranyam Shatanikaya. How are the Dakshayanas? Sumanasya manaha. With noble mind. Shobhanam manaha yesham te. With noble mindedness, they tied that. That type of Hiranya, this Atharva Rishi is telling to some other king, to whom he is tying that, tatte badhnami. That type of Hiranya I am tying on your wrist. That type of, so when you get it to, you trace it back to a historical thing, then this king also will feel, oh, in ancient times Shatanika got it, tied by Dakshayana. So if I also get it tied, then it will be good for me. Right? So if you trace it back to some old version, then people feel happy about it. So Atharva Rishi is telling this to a king, Tatte Badnami. That, not the same one, but the same type of Hiranyamani I am tying on your wrist. For what? Ayushe, for long life. Ayush means life. Ayushaha Vedaha, Ayurveda. But here it is not life, it has to be a long life. It is Dirghayu Prapti Sukta. Long life. Then Varchase, that is splendor. Varchas is Tejas. Varchas is Tejas. And therefore आपण जेव्हा म्हणतो मराठीत ह्याच्यावर वर्चस्व गाजवणं, वर्चस्व, that is you overpower others by your splendor, right? You overshadow them by your splendor. That is called varchasva or varchasvi. So ayushe, varchase, balaya for strength, dirghayatvaya for a long life. How much long? Shatasharadaya for 100 autumn seasons. Shatasharadaya. Why Sharadaya? You can read the Sayana's commentary if you want to. I don't want to make it much complicated. But why Sharadaya? Not Varshaya. This is very interesting, you see, because Vaidyanam Sharadi Mata, there is a Subhashita. Vaidyanam Sharadi Mata, Pitacha Kusumakaraha, Yamadramshtra Svasa Prokta, something like that. I don't remember, I would have prepared it, but it just came to my mind. Vaidyas live because Sharad Rutu is there. Sharadivai Bhuyishtha Rogaha. Sharad comes on a, like a Sandhi Kala. The Varsha Ritu is over and the next Ritu is yet to start. The winter is yet to start. In that Sandhi Kala comes Sharad. Normally September, October, and we always say October heat is worse than the April or May heat. Right? October heat. So that is the Sharad Ritu when the rogas are bhuyishthaha. So if a person crosses one Sharad Ritu, then he will live for the rest 9 months or 8 months. And therefore the Samvatsara, the cycle, see, this is so very interesting. The cycle of the year, now we call Varsha. Right? In olden days, it was to be named after Sharad only. Shatam Jivema Sharado Vardhamanaha. It is only Sharad. Shatam Jiveta Sharadaha, Jive Sharada Shatam. We never said it Varsha. Varsha started when Varsha, more importance was given to the rainy season, maybe more importance was given to agricultural activities. Then the Samvatsara was named as Varsha. Till then it was named as Sharat. So this has, like a civilizational transference of the words, right? This is civilizational progress. When man from the hunting, ancient man, he was a hunter. From hunting, when he came to pastoral or agricultural, agrarian society, then naturally Varsha Ritu was more important. And therefore the Samvatsara got to be known as Varsha. Till then it was Sharat. So this is Ayush Kamaha Hiranyamanim Sampatya Abhimantriya Sthali Pakam cha Sampatya Abhimantriya Tanmani Bandhanam Tadudaka Prashanam Anenaiva Suktena Kuriyat. So one who is Ayush Kamaha, one who wants, one who is desirous of long life, what he should do? Hiranyamanim Sampatya. He should get siddha, made, prepared, a Hiranyamani, which is Yugma Krishnalam. Krishnala is the seed of Gunja plant. Gunja? Manjadi in Malayalam, right? Manjadi in Malayalam. Gunja falani. They are reddish only, orangish reddish. And sometimes there is a black spot on it. And here in Kerala, I have seen, after coming here only for last 8 years, whichever Krishna temple you go, there is a manjadi put in a ural. There are the gunja phala put in a ural. So if you see from long, there is a ural kept with gunja, then it must be Krishna shrine. Okay. And you have to play with that, so that your children will become like Krishna. That is the bhava behind that. So Yugma Krishnalam Sampatya Abhimantriya Sthali Pakam. So Sampatana, so there is mantra. When you get some money is certain thing, this is an amulet. Amulet or taviz, tithe in Marathi, with something tied in between. That could be a rudraksha, that could be a gunjafala, that could be a piece of hiranya, that could be the nakha, Vagnakha of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, right? Vagnakha, or the hair of the bear. If small children fall sick, frequently the Darveshi used to come, and my mother, when my brothers were all siblings were too young, I was only 6-7 years old. That time Darveshi used to come in front of our house in Dadar Chawl, and then my mother used to get 2 hair from that bear, and she used to tie it in some cloth and tie it to my younger brother, who always used to suffer from cough and cold, So all these things are called money. The Mangala Sutra which we wear is sort of money. The Raksha Bandhana, once Raksha Bandhana day, we tie that Rakhi, that is also money. Money is something which is made up of either minerals like Hiranya, Rajata, Loha, or animal products like the nails or the hair or charma, or Aushadhi Vanaspati. It could be Rudraksha, it could be a seed of some plant, some creeper, some flower, petal, something. So that is what is money is, and that money you have to dip it in the mixture of, it differs. In the Kaushika Sutra, all these things would be given. Sometimes it's a mixture of water and dadhi, that is curds. Sometimes it is the mixture of ghrita and paya, that is the ghee and the milk. In that, dubo ke rakhna hai usko, you merge it in that, and then you take it out and then tie it around. Now so many South Indian people are here, they also tie that yellow dhaga, that yellow thread they tie in there, that is also has some money. In Karnataka we had, after Gauri Pujana, we used to put the nirmalya in that yellow thread, which is dipped into the turmeric mixture, turmeric and water, and then you tie something to that and wear it for 16 days. That is a money. Okay, so Sampatya Abhimantracha. And Upanayana Karmani also. In Upanayana also, you can do it for a brahmachari. And then we also saw Shatanika, and Aitareya Brahmana refers to Shatanika as the son of Satrajit. Shatanikam Satrajitam Abhishishecha. So this is an old king, son of Satrajit, who had tied an amulet on his wrist, and therefore the wrist is called Manibandha. Manibandha in Sanskrit, why? There is a money tied on that portion, the wrist portion. Now also we have this kalava, this thread and all, right? This is also sort of money, Raksha Sutra. You go to Kashi, you get a black thread. You go to Mahakal, this is last year's, 1.5 years back, I got it tied. It's not yet going, right? So this is also Raksha Sutra. So any Raksha Sutra, Shakuntala, Kalidasa refers to Raksha Sutra, tied to Sarvadamana. So there is the Raksha Sutra everywhere, okay? Okay. Nainam Rakshansi, one who ties that. Nainam Rakshansi napishachaha sahante. No demons, not the pishachas, can overcome such a person. They cannot trouble that person. So he gets protected from the demons, from the pishachas. Devanam ojaha prathamam hi etat. This Hiranya is the first ever seed. Ojaha. Ojaha is Tejaha basically. This is the first ever, what you can say, something which has sprung up from the God's own splendor. There is a story behind that. If time permits, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, I will tell, not today. So, Prathamajam hi etat, the story comes in the Puranas, not in the Vedas. Yo bibharti dakshayanam hiranyam. One who wears this hiranya, which was earlier tied by Dakshayana, saha jiveshu krunute dirghamayuhu. He lives long life amongst this world. Jiveshu, other jiveshu, amongst the other people, he gets a long, lengthened, prolonged life. Krunute is karoti. Karoti and kurute, these are the two typical verbs given of kru by Panini. One is Parasmepada, one is Atmanepada. But Veda has something different. It has Karati also, Krunoti also, Krunute also. So that talks about the colloquiality of Sanskrit during the Vedic times. मैंने ये बात उनसे करी. Now where is this करी? Which करी? मैंने ये बात उनसे की, right? But in Delhi if you go, मैंने आपसे ये बात करी थी पहले. Now the करी थी, this comes from karati of Veda. This is colloquiality. Okay? So krunute is karoti or kurute. So neither the god, demons or the pishachas trouble him, and this because, why? Because Suvarna is the firstborn force of the gods, firstborn vitality of the gods, and one who commands, one who wears this golden amulet of the descendants of the Dakshayanas, lives a long life among all the people, among the humanity. So Devana Mojaha, it is gold is supposed to be born of Agni according to Taittiriya Brahmana. Taittiriya Brahmana says that gold is born of Agni, and the same thread is carried forward in the Puranas, and they carry it to the Shiva's semen, which he dropped in the mouth of Agni. Agni dropped it in the mouth of his wife Swaha, and Swaha gave birth to a twin called Suvarna and Suvarna, a girl called Suvarna and a boy called Suvarna. So Suvarna is that Suvarna. So the story comes in the Puranas. Okay. Devanam Ojaha Prathamajam. So this is the first ever outspring or manifestation of the God's vitality or bravery. Okay. And because Agni is Rakshogna or Rakshoha, the son of Agni, that is Suvarna, has to be Rakshoha. And therefore Nainam Rakshaso na Pishachaha Sahante Nama Abhibhavanti. Neither the Rakshasas nor the Pishachas can harass him, Abhibhavanti, can defeat him, can overcome him. Pishachaha Pishitam Ashnati iti Pishachaha. One who eats the rotten food is called Pishacha. Rotten food. Apam tejo jyotirojo balancha vanaspatinam utaviryani indra iva indriyani adhodharayami adhidharayami asmin tad dakshamano bibharat hiranyam. So by tying this, what I am going to give you, O king, I am going to give you apam tejaha. Whatever brilliance is there in the water, in the up-tattva, in the jala-tattva, in the cosmic jala-tattva, that I impart to you. Then I am going to give you brilliance of light. Jyotihi ojaha. Balam cha, and the strength. And vanaspatinam utaviryani, and all the brave or heroic things which belong to all the Vanaspati. Vanaspati are the trees basically, right? Vanaspati are trees. We have Aushadi, Vanaspati, Virud. We'll talk about it tomorrow maybe. So Vanaspatinam Utaviryani. So whatever strength lies in all these Vanaspatis, the trees or the medicinal plants, all that I am transferring unto you, O king. Indra iva indriyani. Like Indra has his indriya. Mai Indra indriyam dadhatu, mai agnistejo dadhatu, in the Medha Sukta, right? Mai Indra indriyam dadhatu. So Indra is the god of the indriyas. Indra is the prana shakti. And therefore he is the lord of all the indriyas. So I give you what? All the thing which lies in Indra, that is the power of Indra, I transfer to you. This gold, this etad hiranyam, bibharat hiranyam, it will asmin dakshamanaha. So one who dakshamanaha here, vardhamanaha. Daksha samruddho. Daksha samruddho. So let this amulet which I am tying to you, O king, have the powers of the water and fire and the healing powers of the trees, and it may stay with you as a manifestation of Indra's heroic powers. Because Indra is the bravest of the Vedic gods. Indra is the killer of all the demons who harass the Vedic gods, Vedic deities. And therefore he is called Devarat. He is the lord of the gods, Devendra. He is the Indra. He is not just Indra. Indra, there are 10 Vitpattis given by Yaska. I won't go into all that. I have done it in the Indra Sukta long back. Okay, and there is a long Sayana Bhashya also here, but most of these things are Indrasya asadharana chinhani, that is the prana bala, the pranic healing, the pranic shakti, all that will get transferred to you if you tie that gold amulet in your hand. So gold amulet is not just a piece of metal, it carries the power of water and fire and all the heroic deeds of Indra and Vanaspati's healing powers. So all because this is abhimantrita. When you put something, in normally in the Ganesha Puja or whatever Graha Shanti etc., Udak Shanti you do, you put a jar filled with water, right? And then the priest comes and chants certain mantras, and then the water is sprinkled on all of us, because that becomes Abhimantrita Jala. So when you are doing this chanting of this sukta, the Hiranya is lying there in that sampatana, in that dravana, in that mixture of water and milk and curd and ghee and whatnot, and then you take it out, it becomes Abhimantrita, plus it has its own values, it has its own virtues, and therefore it becomes capable of protecting you and lengthening your life. If you are well protected, your life is also ensured further, right? And therefore protection directly is responsible to the longevity of life. And then the last verse, Samanam Masam Ritubhistva Vayam Samvatsarasya Payasa Piparmi Indragni Vishve Devaste Anumanyantam Arhaniyamanaha. Though it is Vayam, it has to be taken as Aham, because the Kriyapada is Uttama Purusha Ekavachana, first person singular, Aham Piparmi. In the Vedic language, this Vyatyasa is very commonly understood. You have to go by the Kriyapada. Akhyata is the main thing in a sentence, not the noun or the pronoun. So what is the Akhyata? What is the Kriyapada? The Kriyapada is Piparmi. I fill you. Piparmi Purayami. Purayami. I fill you. With what? With vigor. With vigor, which is the vigor of Samanam Masam and Samvatsarasya Payasa. This is the vigor and vitality of life and nature over months and years and seasons after seasons. So Samvatsara it's a Masanam Samuha. One Samvatsara is an aggregate of 12 months. Okay, Masana. And then it has 4 seasons or 3 seasons, 3 or 4, depending upon, right? In the Rigveda, only 3 seasons are mentioned. Grishma, Idma, Sharad, Dhavi, like that. But otherwise, Hemanta is also mentioned. Sharad is also mentioned. Sharad, Dhavi, etc. So, season after season, month after month, that means the entire year, I want to fill you with Bala. Ayushe, Varchase, Balaya, Dirghayutvaya, Shatasharadaya. The first Richa, the same thing continues here. And I fill you with all that prowess, with all that vigor and vitality of all these, the natural elements, as well as the Vanaspatis, as well as the Adhidaivika, the Indrasya Shakti. All that. So I have already, like Abhimantrita, I have sanctified this Hiranyamani, and that I am tying to you, so that Indra, Agni and Vishve Devaha, and I am making an appeal to Indra. Indra is there in the previous Richa, previous mantra as well. Agni, because he is the son, not he, it. Hiranya is the son of Agni, therefore Agni is also mentioned. And Vishve Devaha, this is another genre of deities. They are an assemblage of various deities. Vishve Devaha. So Vishve Devaha as a class of a deities you can take, or Vishva you can take as a Sarvanama, as a pronoun, meaning Sarve. In the Vedic language, for all, you use not Sarva, you use Vishva. Shrunvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha. Rigveda starts, not starts, but in the Rigveda there is a mantra like this, Richa like this. Shrunvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha. Vishvaha, that is Sarvaha. Vishvajit, Sarvajit. So Vishwa means Sarva, all the gods. Not only Indra, not only Agni, but I make an appeal to all the gods that they be here with you without having any apprehensions about you, without any reserve or hesitation. Runiyamanaha. Runiyamanaha. Akridhyantaha. Sayana says, Runiyamana is kridhyantaha, not being angry with you. Akridhyantaha kriyamana karmani vaikalya nimittam krodham akurvantaha. See, when we are doing some ritual action, some Vedic ritual, it might be that something goes wrong inadvertently, not deliberately. Some mistakes may occur, but these are the gods which will not mind that, which will not be angry upon you for some such simple slips which you are likely to make by human erroneous nature. To err is human, to forgive divine, isn't it? So by human nature, by human weaknesses, even if there are some truties, some lacuna in whatever we do, I am sure by this mantra I am appealing to all the gods that they will not be angry with you. And akridhyantaha, so this is very nice, that's why Sayana comes to our help. Sambhavat kriyamana karmani, whatever karma we are doing, sambhavat, there is a possibility of making some mistakes, because we are by nature like that, human weaknesses. So sambhavat vaikalya nimittam api krodham akurvantaha. So they will not be angry with you. Let them, permit you. Let them be in agreement with whatever you wish from them. Anujanantutvam. Let them permit you. Let them give you permission. Anujanantutvam. Suvarna dharanadi kriya janitam ayuradi phalam te angikuruvantu ityarthaha. See, as a priest, I am also, Atharva says, I am also a human being. I am doing my best for you who is Ayush Kama king, and I am tying this with the same hope that earlier times Dakshayanas tied it to Shatanika and he benefited from that. So I am also doing that. But while doing so, if at all there are some slips and some errors, I am sure all these gods will not mind. They will not be angry with you, and they will yield, they will render all the rewards, all the fruits which Shatanika got from tying of that Suvarnamani to you as well. Okay, so this is Mohan Datar is writing something in Vishesh. What is that? Can you speak up? Some Ayurveda, the chat just disappeared. I was going to read it, or I will read it and tomorrow I will answer if there is a question on that. So these are the only 4 mantras, and Dirghayushya Sukta, this is not the only one. There are many such suktas. Just now we saw one kanda, especially 17th kanda has Dirghayushya Suktani. In the 8th kanda there are 2-3 suktas. In every kanda, you open at any kanda of Atharvaveda, you will come across at least 1 or 2 Dirghayushya Suktani, because that is the ultimate aim of Atharvaveda. And one such sutta is in the 2nd kanda, Atharvaveda 2:4, and there is also a money tied, but not a Hiranya money. It is called Jangida money, and Jangida is a Vanaspati money. I was telling you that there sometimes it is a metal like gold or silver, or yes, Sometimes it is Pranija and sometimes it is Vanaspatya. So Jangida is a Vanaspatya Mani. Manis Sahasra Viryaha. So that's a healing plant, and dictionary gives the meaning as Vriksha Visheshaha Varanasyam Prasiddha. I don't know which Vriksha is this, but Varanasyam Prasiddha, and this is especially helpful not for Dirghayushya, for against diseases, against Takman, that is fever, then Balasa, consumption, Jambha, convulsion, Vishkanda, rheumatic, frozen shoulder and all that. Vishkanda, skanda is shoulder, frozen shoulder or rheumatism. Vishara, splitting of the body, splitting of the organs, and Abhishochana, scorching. So Abhishochana, Jangido, Jambha, Vishara, Vishkanda, Abhishochana, Sahasravirya, Parinah Patu, Vishvataha. See here I was telling you, Vishva means Sarva. Vishvataha is Sarvataha. Vishva is not world. Sampurna Vishwa, as we say in Marathi. Vishwa is not world, Vishwa is Sarva. Vishvataha is Sarvataha. Okay? Need lives in South India. So somebody is writing something in the chat. So there are many such Ayushkama Suktas or Dirghayu Suktas, and many manis are also employed. So we saw 2 manis. I will tomorrow circulate one. In very old times when I was like doing my research, I had written a paper on Manidharana in the Atharvaveda. I will scan and post it to you tomorrow if I lay my hand upon that old copy of that my paper, Manidharana in the Atharvaveda. Okay. And some medicinal herbs in the Atharvaveda also, there is another article. So I will scan and post the copies in the group so that you can read it at your leisure time. Okay, with this let me stop. If you have any query, just put in the chat. I will ask the person to open the chat box and make a note of that, and I will try to answer tomorrow before we start our tomorrow's class. Show me the chat before you close. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.